This is where the community is connected. 980 AM WDDO.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Macon in Middle Georgia. It's time for Village Talks with Tia and LJ. Join them live every Wednesday from 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. right here on the Glory 107.9 FM, 980 AM WDDO. Log on to the Glory 107.9 FM on Facebook or YouTube to become a part of the conversation. Let's go live into the studio for Village Talks with Tia and LJ.
Is your child struggling with reading, writing, learning loss, and a culturally irrelevant curriculum? Do you want your child to be outstanding at reading and writing and also take pride in their culture? Then you want Reading Revolution Online. Reading Revolution Online is a web-based reading support program. We serve scholars in grades K through 8, and through our innovative approach, we help them build reading confidence and cultural identity development, equipping them for success in school and life. They learn about Black heroes and sheroes through captioned videos, reading selections, and other activities. Reading Revolution Online is an experience for the whole family. Do it for the culture. Go to readingrevolution.org and get your membership today.
Hey, good evening.
Hey. What's going on?
How's everyone doing out there? Welcome to Village Talks. We are Macon in Middle Georgia's freshest radio show and Godcast, bringing you conversations centered around culture and community from right here in the 478 and beyond. I am your you got to say and beyond. We everywhere. You can watch us anywhere in the world. But I am your co-host, LJ. And to the left is the Dynamite. Heroic.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, we superheroes.
Transformative. Leap a building in a single bound.
Oh, wow.
Nah, but loving, intelligent, much so appreciated.
Tia, peace, good people. How y'all doing out there? Thank you so much for joining us this evening. How you doing today, LJ?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. It's a good day. We got some good things happening. Some stuff didn't happen with the local elections, and we got a great person on the show that's in the media who can shed some light on some things, hopefully, fellas. So I'm feeling good. 432.
For sure. Yeah, we have an amazing guest today. I'm very excited about this guest. Some people don't even think he's a real person. While walking in here, somebody said they thought he was a group of people. Shout out to Ashley.
Big shout out to our good sis Ashley.
For sure. But I heard some other people say it before though. But we're happy to have Mr. Carlos Stevens on with us today. He'll be joining us in a little bit.
So all conspiracy theories are going to be canceled.
I'm telling you, he is a real person. He is not AI. He is not a group of people conspiring to trick you. We appreciate it. For sure. But do we got some just let everybody know who's checking in with us right now. We are on the radio and we are online, right? And so that's why I said we're beyond, because I mean you can watch us on the World Wide Web as well. And also you can always go back and watch our show. Some people think that you just have to catch our shows live. Now, if you're listening to us on the radio, which we're on 107.9 FM and 980 AM WDDO, if you're in the Macon Middle Georgia area, yes, you definitely have to listen to our show live on the radio. But if you're checking in with us, like we have so many that are on YouTube and Facebook with us right now on the live stream at the Glory 107.9 page on Facebook and also on the Village Talks page, you can watch the show live stream and you can join the chat, put in your comments about the show, ask questions for our guests, all that. So make sure that you always go back and check out our shows. You know, if you want to, see some of the shows, we have a lot of great shows, a lot of awesome shows. I can say that. And sometimes we go back and watch them because we learn stuff But yeah, definitely go back and check out our shows, the previous shows, and make sure that you follow the Glory on Facebook and you follow Village Talks on Facebook as well. But you also can call in with us. So if you want to join this conversation, if you want to, you got something to say, get something off the chest, call us at 478-250-1444. Again, that number is 478-250-1444.
Right. And I just want to throw in there, the Facebook Lives, they do expire after 30, was it 30 days, 90 days, something like that. But all of the broadcasts are available on YouTube at the Glory YouTube page. So make sure you check it out if you want to play it back following the expiration of the Facebook lives.
For sure.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. All right.
Yeah.
And shout out to our chat. Right now has Miss Ashley Woodford. She says, yes, that was me saying that he was a group of people. Somebody, don't come for me, y'all. Nah. Hey, he said that wasn't the first time hearing it.
It wasn't the first time. It wasn't only you, Ashley.
It's all good. It's all types of stuff I heard about Mr. Stevens. I like, no, he's a real person. As we promoting this show, people come up with all kind of stuff. And what's up, Aunt? Antonio Odom says, my nephew don't play with the news. LOL. That's right. That's what we got him on here. He is not fake news. Not at all. We ain't either.
Nope. Real, recognized real.
Most definitely. So speaking of,
yeah,
you got the good news for us right now.
I do have the good news. Before I get to that, though, I do want to shout out our sponsors, Homeland Village Cultural Center. That's Abijah over here on Napier Avenue. Feel free to check out for all your essentials. So your black seed oils, your artifacts, music instruments, clothing, books, CMOS, whatever you need, oils, he has it there. So again, that's Homeland Village here on Napier Avenue. Also Assembly Brothers, big shout out to our big brother, or big little brother, little big brother, Sherman Kine. We appreciate him. Also, we want to give a shout out to Dr. Chike Akua. If you tune in at the top of the show, you always see his ad for Reading Revolution. So big shout out to Dr. Chike Akua for just spreading cultural knowledge and wisdom here and all over the globe. And then we also want to give a big shout out to Roscoe Tours. That is the owners of WDDO, Apostle Rozier and Bishop Scott. And finally, we want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Habersham Records, and that is Miss Pat Malone with Habersham Records, new location over on Presidential Parkway. Okay, I got you. Yes,
that's right.
And with that being said, we're gonna move right on into what's happening, making in Middle Georgia. Happening right now at the Washington Memorial Library is Conversations with the Clerk, that is hosted by Bibb County Superior Court Clerk Erica Woodford. She will be going over the Enslaved People Project. So that is the project that she has been the head of since she started with the Superior Court Clerk. As Superior Court Clerk. So the topics include local genealogy research, records preservation, the Enslaved People Project, and historical documentation and community education. It takes place from 5:30 until, and again, that will be taking place right now as we speak at the Washington Memorial Library. Happening on Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth, is the Real Talk Hip Hop Concert headlined by Black Male. This will be located at the Douglas Theater starting at 7 p.m. Tickets are $10, and it is a community-centered hip hop concert featuring local and regional talent. Then happening on Saturday, June 20th, is the 34th annual Juneteenth Freedom Festival. This will be taking place from 1 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. at Tanner Square Park. Highlights include living history exhibits, cultural performances, art exhibitions, food vendors, percussion workshops, dance collaborations, youth and adult talent show, and these both are presented by Kwanzaa Cultural Access Center and Torchlight Academy. And then also we're going to be having on Sunday, to round out the Juneteenth festivities, the 3rd annual Juneteenth Parade that is presented by Making Black Culture. What time will that be taking place, LJ? You know the
parade is 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. It'll be happening downtown. And again, that is presented by Making Black Culture. So big shout out to Kwanzaa Cultural Access Center, Torchlight Academy, and Making Black culture and all of the sponsors for making Juneteenth thrive here in Macon Bia. And that's what's happening. Macon.
For sure. And I like to stress again about with this being Juneteenth week, do not forget. I know Tia talked about the festival Saturday, but don't forget we do have an actual Juneteenth festival. So the Juneteenth parade is amazing. It's something that everybody needs to go take your kids. Everybody needs to experience that. But we have back-to-back days of amazing events for us to support. All right. So do not forget about the festival at Tatton Square Park. Just do not forget about it. All right. So
it's so much rich history there. The reason that Mr. Muhammad and everyone selected Tatton Square Park is very significant. So make sure that you go understand history, be a part of history in the making. So be sure to attend on Saturday from 1 to 9:30 p.m.
Right. And we see Ashley, she works at the Tubman. She says tomorrow they have a free symposium at the Tubman Museum by Kwanzaa Cultural Access Center and Torchlight Academy and Making Black Culture from 10 to 5. So make sure you all check that out.
Okay, so that is tomorrow. That's the Hip Hop Summit.
Right.
Perfect. Thank you, Ashton. We appreciate that. She also says convo with her mother. Yes, Miss Erica Woodford.
Yeah. And also go back. We have a show with Miss Erica Woodford. On the Village Talks from last year, and she went through everything that Tia was talking about the Enslaved People Project, and it was an amazing show. She talked about what inspired her to do that. But if you ever get a chance to go to one of the live events that she puts together to break down how and why she did what she did, make sure you check that out. And there's also a documentary on YouTube. Everybody, you from Macon, y'all have got to watch this documentary. We had Dr. Matt Harper from Mercer University on a couple shows ago. And he talked, he's the producer of this documentary, which is called Refounding Macon.
Yes.
Make sure y'all go check out Refounding Macon. You got all the top historians, that's from Macon that put this documentary together. It's amazing. Now, you do not want to miss it. It talks about the beginning of Macon to where we are now, and just a lot of different things and the challenges the Black folks face, and and even how instrumental enslaved people were here in Macon and creating and building Macon. So it's incredible. Like seriously, so make sure y'all go check that out. It's called Refounding Macon. Make sure y'all check that out.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And so we can move right into the accountability check question, and that will get us into our guests. Did you want to go over to?
No, you can go ahead. Now, I just wanted to say we had a couple more people in the chat. I just wanted to say shout out to Commissioner Bryant. She says hi, everyone.
Hey, Commissioner.
Hey, Commissioner. She was up there. She took the bus ride.
Right. We heard the great news that they have decided not to go further with the redistricting maps at this present time. So thank you to everyone who went to the Capitol and, went to protest and fight for our rights. So thank you so much.
Right. And what really inspired it too, though, was how many people got out and voted in the last election. So, a lot of, they were scared. They said they didn't want to they want to motivate.
They don't want to mobilize Democrats.
So, and we needed all sides and everybody voting. So shout out to everybody that went out and voted to make sure that we were going to have some fair elections, moving forward. All right. And also we have, I'm sorry, Kimberly Whitlow, Kimberly Kaiser Whitlow, Miss Whit High. She says, "Good afternoon, family. I am present and accounted for. I am ready for another wonderful show."
Hey, Miss Kim.
Yeah, I'm gonna call you later too. All right.
Oh yeah.
And Steve Bryant says, "Hello, everyone from Alexandria, Virginia." Shout out to, I told you we from before 7 and beyond.
And beyond.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that full circle, Mr. Bryant.
Yeah, he's always checking in with us, so we appreciate you for checking in with us in Virginia.
Yes. All right. And now for the accountability check question: do you trust the media to tell the truth? Why or why not? Do you trust the media to tell the truth? Why or why not? LJ, you got any thoughts on that?
That's a great accountability check question. For me, I'm trying to keep my answer short.
Yes.
All right. So, I'm gonna tell the truth. I'm gonna say no, I don't.
Okay.
I don't trust the media to tell the truth. But I do trust certain sources. I'll just put it that way. Like my brother, like who got on the show today, Carlos.
Yeah.
When you say something, I trust that. You know what I mean? And he's also somebody that's accessible. So, you can reach out to him and, get some clarification on stuff. But no, I would say no. I always have to check sources and research things for myself, Because a lot of things that are given to us now is about narrative. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
there's certain powers that be or stuff that be behind underlying stuff that be behind a lot of these stories. So
Right.
I have to make sure I check the sources and the intentions behind it. Like what's the, what be the reasons behind a lot of this stuff? You know what I mean?
Right. I feel the same way. It depends on who it is, where the the outlet, local versus national, and then also just is the information verifiable? 'Cause you
Right.
gotta sometimes, most of the time, 99.9 100% of the time you need to check for yourself. A lot of times we'll trust people because we think them to be having no ulterior motives, but at the end of the day, if the truth gonna stand the test of time. So
That's right.
if you can go, and even if they're telling you go check for yourself, yeah, I'm saying this, go check for yourself.
That's right.
That's the type of person that you can say, okay, you might be on to something. I might can't check. You might be definitely a credible source, but I still definitely want to go and check for myself, because though we're in the age of information, is misinformation and disinformation. Like LJ said, there is narrative pushing, and it's a lot of that. It's propaganda. So we need to be able to know the difference.
Right.
Understand primary sources, secondary sources, and all those type of things. So
That's right.
we have Antonizo.
Tanzio.
Antonzio, I'm sorry, Mr. Odoms. He says, I listen, but I still do my own research. That's right. And then Miss Kimberly Cosby Willow says, smell, nah, have they ever told the truth?
That's a new one. Hey, you got to know Kimberly. Hey, I'm telling you. Hey, and if listen, she's a real personality. But I ain't heard that one before ever in my life. She said,
Smell, nah.
smell, nah. It don't smell right. You know what I'm saying?
We gonna take it. And with that, Miss Kim, we are gonna move to our special guest for the evening. I think he's gonna have a good perspective on some of the things and questions that we have as it relates to transparency and trust in the media. So without further ado, we would love to welcome Mr. Carlos Stevens to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
Y'all, it's him. It's not they. It's not a group of folks. It's not AI. He's not a bot.
Person.
It's one person.
So, Carlos, we want to thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Absolutely.
And then I know you have a very big presence on social media. Can you just explain to us and the people a little bit about what got you into journalism, and is there anything specific, like a specific story or something like that pushed you in that direction?
Well, I'm gonna try to make that story short because it's really lengthy. But my love for I'll tell you this, it really started off with me really just wanting to be on TV. At the age of I think 11 or 12 years old. So funny story, I actually used to set up a fake TV studio in my bedroom. Like you can literally call my whole family and they'll tell you that. They think it's funny to this day. But I would wake up right when my dad go to work, which was about 5 o'clock, and I would do a newscast as if I was on TV for real. And so I did it for quite some time. And so after that, I basically fast forwarding, get to high school, still knowing journalism is what I want to do. Took journalism in high school, graduated, did not get directly into the field. In fact, my dad was like, because I wasn't doing nothing when I graduated, if I be honest. My dad was like, yeah, this ain't gonna work. Like, you gotta go. So he came in my room one day.
The normal dad,
yeah,
figure it out, son.
Right. So but yeah, that's exactly what he told me. He was like, yeah, you're gonna figure it out. After the day, I don't need to see you here no more. I know some people say, I wouldn't date my child like that, but I would say that it pushed me to be successful. And so, yeah, basically after that, my dad, getting me out, doing something for myself. I actually drove trucks for like a good little minute. I know my small me driving a truck, right? Crazy. Yeah, drove a truck for some time. So I came back home, never forget it. Knew that wasn't what I wanted to do.
Right.
So came back home, called Marvin James. Me and Marvin James did not really know each other at the time, but had been watching him on TV for as long as I could remember. So I was just like, I reached out to him on Facebook. I was like, hey man, do you have any advice on how to get into this field? because it's just something I really wanted to do. And so he was just like, I would just encourage you to fill out applications, and hopefully somebody will give you a call back. So say no more. I fill out applications to like all the stations.
Right.
24 called first. So I go there, get in the interview, tell my boss at the time, I was like, if you just give me a shot, I'll take it from here. And basically, that's what I did. Uh, and got into the field and really didn't, started off in production, wasn't an on air talent till recently, about I would say 6 or 7 years ago. So I was really like, I took time to really learn how to shoot, edit, do everything the behind the scenes people do, even reporters do it actually.
Right.
And so once I learned everything, I picked it up and took it from there, and I got my own air shot. Actually, I started off as a reporter at a sports reporter, to be exact, at 13 WMAZ. Then came back to 24 and was offered a full-time reporter position. Like I said, it really just took it from there. So I just really have always loved journalism. Like I said, it started from wanting to be on TV, but the story, I think that I really can't give you one, Till. Like, it's so many
It's
I've
immense.
done. Like, it's whoa. But I would tell you what I think solidified that this was like my purpose and where I needed to be, when you cover a story and you see how it make a difference in the community.
Right.
And I have covered a number of those. Most recently, just to give an example, not gonna call the complex name or anything, but there was a lady who called our newsroom, and she was like, basically, she needs somebody to come out because she has cancer, and they had turned off the water, and obviously you need water to do everything pretty much.
Right.
And so she called us, and she was just trying to figure out, like, get some answers, and nobody was giving her any.
Right.
So she called the newsroom. I get on the story and do the story. The next day, she call our newsroom and say, "Hey, my water's been restored."
That's awesome.
So when you make those, and it was more of an accountability thing, when you can make that type of impact in people's lives and people take you seriously, I don't take for granted that people trust me to come inside of their homes and tell stories every single day. People never have to tell their story to you.
Right.
So yeah, that's really what solidified and letting me know, like, yeah, this is where you need to be.
That's awesome.
It's cool, man.
That's powerful.
Yeah, and also, where did you grow up at now? Let folks know now. Where you from now?
Cobra Nation, Twiggs County. We represent.
All right, yeah, because I know some of your folks in Twiggs County.
Like my uncle.
Yeah, they very proud of you. They're proud of you. All right. And then with that being said, too, I've been in contact with a lot of local media, over the years, just doing different things, here making, and most time, most cases, people, they aren't necessarily, most of our reporters and anchors, they aren't from Macon. They're not from here. Then a lot of times, they'll come for a couple of years and then they have to leave. Like, they get another job somewhere else or whatever. Well, this is kind of like really a stepping stone for them anyway. They come here to this market so they can get to a bigger market. You know what I mean?
That's very true.
And so it's been difficult for me too, because I actually have grown to have some relationships with a couple of news reporters, and they have to move on and go somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
And
kind
so,
of a constant cycle.
yeah, and so for you to be here, like, what motivates you to actually stay here? With everything that you have going on, because I know one thing that stands out to me is the fact that, for one, you are from here, and I don't really know anybody else that's really from Macon that is, or from this area that is a news anchor, and and for you to still be here and for you to be as popular and as sought after as you are, I'm quite sure you've got some offers to leave Macon.
Yeah.
So what motivates you to stay here?
Again, just going back to making a difference. Like, once I understood the difference that journalism could make, good journalism, factual journalism, not just any journalism. It was like, it's no better place for me to do it than my own home in Middle Georgia. To just hear the stories of people and be able to, our job is to give them a voice. Our job is also to hold people accountable. Sometimes accountability people don't always agree with it, but it's part of the job. It's part of what we do. And so, like I said, just being able to give those people voices and make impactful changes through journalism. I mean, that's the whole reason why I have chosen to stay right here in Middle Georgia. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love to call Middle Georgia home.
That's good.
Yeah, man. So everybody that's out there that's listening, understand how valuable and how unique of a situation it is to have a Carlos Stevens that is not only just from this area, and there's an amazing journalist and is great at his job, but he's consistent. Like he's staying here. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
And so we used to folks like back in the day. Like I know for me, like the coming up and making Middle Georgia, you're who's the number one journalist in making Georgia? Come on, you already know. Like who's number one?
That's definitely Tina Hicks.
Okay. You from here for real?
That's who shoulders I ride on. That's why I take it so serious.
Yeah, Tina Hicks is it. You know what I mean? And
I won't hold a counter to her though. Not even close.
Oh no, not tell. I got to keep it real. We I'm gonna tell you. Nah, you ain't Tina Hicks yet.
No.
You
won't ever be.
Yeah, you're on your way. You're on your way to being looked at in your on the Mount Rushmore. You're on your way.
Yeah, my own path. I ain't even trying to be. I ain't even trying to be.
You're gonna always and forever be Carlos Stevens,
Right.
and so we appreciate you for that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I do want to say, because with the accountability check question asking about just the trust in media, can you explain what does responsible journalism look like, especially in an era where information spreads like instantly through social media? So like, how is the fact checking done? And now we're seeing where stories have to be put out so quickly that a lot of times there's no fact checking until maybe after, or even if at all. So how do you deal with that, and what does that look like to you?
Well, really just first off, you got to understand, like with journalism, you just can't take people word and run with it. Number one. So, my day start, I'm pitching my story in the newsrooms saying, hey, I think this is important to the community. Sometimes I get a yay, sometimes I get a nay. But regardless, whatever story you do, you got to first, the reporter got to fully understand what the story is, because you can't even explain to viewers at home if you don't understand it.
Right.
So, we roughly got about a good 4 hours to research, go do interviews, write, and still make sure by the time 5 o'clock come, everything we said on air was factual.
Right.
And so in between getting interviews, after I've interviewed a person, now is my job, and even before, I'm not going to just say after, before, because I already kind of have a good idea what the story is. Now I'm researching, like, I got to research to see what questions I need to ask you to make this story even more relevant. So once I have the questions, now I go ask you. Well, again, I'm still not going to take your word for it, because let's be real. Sometimes people try to paint their own narrative. They got bias. They trying to, they have their own motive in stories.
Right.
And so as a reporter, I have to understand that. And still, after not to say they lying by any stretch or they telling the story or whatever, but after I interview, I got to go do my own research to say, hey, okay, what they said here, especially if they say something lawfully, where is this law? Look this law up. Find, is this actually a law, or is this person just making up something?
Right.
And for me, my boss even know this. If I don't find factual information pertaining to a story, Carlos' name ain't gonna be printed on it. Because for me, people are watching you at 5:36, at 11, and they trusting you to deliver information. Like, some people don't, you got to think about your older people. They don't have access to Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and they trusting you to provide them with information that could be really, their life could be dependent on that information. And if you go out there and tell the field, who knows, you could have just called somebody to, get put out their apartment or something, just because you did not share factual information. So anytime if I ever post a story, you best believe I'm going to fact check. And that ain't to say that I don't make mistakes, because we all human. But if I do make a mistake, and anybody I've covered will tell you this, I will come back and say Carlos was wrong.
Right.
And tell you why I made a mistake and I correct it. But it's not going to happen very often, because I take my job very seriously.
That's right. That's good.
Yeah, that's really good, man. And we appreciate you too, because I seen you in real life, in real time, do that. Without even calling anything out specifically, I've seen you actually take a story that might have, been given by someone else or other folks that, maybe it's misled the community. You take it upon yourself. Well, you didn't even have to. You've done certain stories. You've done a few stories to make sure that we had accurate information out here, on certain things. So you are greatly appreciated just for that, man. Because I know you're passionate about it. It ain't just about what is given to you. You care about what's given to the community. But you make sure that our community is getting accurate information. So,
and I'll tell you this too. One of the sayings that I live by, and this is like my own saying: facts win in journalism, not narratives. facts win in journalism. Anybody can create a narrative, but what is the facts behind that story?
Absolutely.
That's what I live by.
Right. And that's just something in life in general right now, right? Like,
right.
Because right now everybody's a journalist. With social media, you know what I mean? Like, you know, seriously, you know, because people get a lot of their news, most of their news from social media, especially in Macon. You know, you can go to Facebook a lot of times before, you know, find out something before the news. You know what I mean?
That's why you got to do your research.
Yeah, absolutely. That's another. If it ain't Carlos Stevens telling you that, you better
figure it out.
I'm telling you. Yeah, but we appreciate you for that. Yeah, I want to go to the chat.
Yeah, that's fine. And I do want to just say too, because when you said facts win in journalism, it's not just the facts, but it's the context of those facts as well. Because I think when we're talking about people narrative pushing, you can take some numbers and some data and make it sound and look a type of way, and that's not, you know, then that is losing some of the truth.
Good point.
And so that's something that always needs to be considered.
Oh yeah, that's a
context.
great. That's a great point. Let me say that too, because you know, because I've called some other stations. This ain't too now, you know, but I've had to call some news stations and be very upset about some things because they put out some data about some stuff in Macon that was very misleading. You know, without even going, you know, specifically about it. But it's talking about how certain things are happening or have happening in Macon. They use certain data and it's misleading. They left out the context of, you know, what was what. You know, they didn't even have the source of the data. You know, they just sharing something. So now I got a question. Okay, so who gave you this? Like, why are you even posting this? You know what I mean? You know, and then, you know, we live in this headline culture too, right? So, you know, people put this stuff out just in a headline and they know the majority of people will just see this headline and not actually read the article or, you know, or do the research. And so, you know, you misleading people with that because this headline might be totally different from the context of what's actually in this article. You know what I mean? And so, you know, sometimes we get purposely misled by stuff that they put in these headlines and, you know, and stuff like that.
Well,
so
what I would say about even the headlines, because a lot of times that's really all the people read. They read a headline and they just run with it. And so sometimes we get people coming, even on my page, sometimes people, whenever I read, when I do, because I rarely ever do, when I read comments on my page where somebody may be trying to come at me, I guess personally as a reporter, I know off the rip that you didn't do your research. You just responded to a headline, so you have no context to you. What your comment has no context.
Right.
You just responded because the headline might have said this. So, you know, my family, like, they like to call me and be like, you see what such and said? No, I don't. And 9 times out of 10 they said it. If you can't inbox me and say, hey, could you give me more clarification on this? I'm definitely not responding to you publicly, especially if you're trying to criticize me. I'm not. You'll never get a response out of me.
Understood. Yeah. I'm sure it's a lot of pushback that comes on, especially in comments. People go off on the comments. So understood. I'm gonna get to the chat real quick and then we're gonna get to some more questions. So
my uncle.
Okay, Miss Kia Boo says, hey y'all, my good sis. Oh, big congratulations to my sister. She just got her license, a master social work. So congratulations, sister. She's been doing the doggone thing for the last couple years, and so I want to just say congratulations, big shout out to her. Demario Pitt says good evening. Your uncle, Mr. Odom, says hashtag Twiggs County strong. Patrick Davis says, Carlos, you have done a great job reporting the news. You are definitely an inspiration. Thank you. That's a nice compliment.
Thank you, sir.
Razul Salim says, hey, everyone. Peace. Razul, we appreciate you being
Brother
here.
Salim.
Yes. Okay. And we had 2 questions for you. And then I don't know if we can get into some questions after that. So the first question, Patrick Davis asked, would you consider anchoring the news and being behind the desk? I remember Frank Malloy at Channel 13 started out as a sports reporter in the 1980s, but became the 6 p.m. news anchor in the mid-90s and been there ever since.
So I actually get this question quite often. People asking me, like, why you don't be behind the desk a whole lot. And don't get me wrong, I actually filled in on morning about 3 weeks ago. Love the experience, but for me, I just have an enjoyment in being out in the community and telling people stories. And when you're behind the desk, it kind of limits you to be able to do that. You know, to really have that personal experience with viewers. So I'm not opposed to it. You know, the time may come and present itself, and of course, I would love to do it, but right now, that's just not my focus.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Understood. Understandable. And then your uncle asked, Carlos, what is the inspiration behind the Game Changer segment that you do?
Dog, you could have called and asked me that. Nah, I'm just messing with you. Man, I'm glad you asked. So game changers, we often see like from a national perspective or the national sports like NBA, NFL, MLB, and all these national leagues, how these players go out and they impact the world. We always see that at a national level. And so I was just literally, I think I was just watching sports one day and I was just like, or just sitting around just in my own personal space and just thinking like, what can I do to really make sure these athletes get recognized here locally? Because they doing great stuff too, you know, and that shouldn't get overlooked. And so I struggled with coming up with an idea at first, but then I finally came up with what I wanted to do, which was highlight them for like their good grades, their community service, and you know, just what they doing outside of the school. And so I could not come up with a name. So I don't know if a lot of y'all remember Chris Porter, who used to work here some time ago. And so I struggled with coming up with a name. And so I called him, I gave him a name because he's my mentor. And so he was like, "Nah, we ain't doing that. Like, that's too basic." And I was like, okay. So he just threw out one at me and it was Game Changer. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. Because if you're doing great stuff in the classroom, outside in the community, you know, you excelling, even in sports, you're game changer. So took the name, ran with it, and the rest is history. And so now it's on pause right now just because obviously school is out. But when football season start back, yeah, Game Changer will return. So yeah, that's the story behind that one.
That's awesome.
Cool. Yeah. That's my aunt too. Now, just to let you know,
that's your aunt too.
Yeah, that's my guy. That's my guy.
Hey, I ain't mad at you.
Family.
Yeah.
And
you want?
You can go ahead because I was going to stay with the chat.
No, you stay with the chat. Go ahead.
Okay. And then Kibu says, "All thanks, sis. Love you. I love you too, sis. You're doing so great." And then Commissioner Bryant says, "How much do they censor what you can and cannot report on?"
You know, that's a really good question. All I can tell you this, without really getting into specifics, the best thing you can do as a reporter is make sure they understand why the community should hear the information they need to hear. I know me specifically, you know, I'm always bringing, again, going back to facts, and as Tia said, context. You know, because that's one of my boss, you know, our boss's question. Like, first off, why is this story important to the community? So if you can give them factual information and context, they allow you to report as you should. Right. Now the thing is, your boss is trusting you because you're out in the field. So while they do have an idea what the story is, they're depending on you to get the right information because they can't be out there with you. So that's really on you about getting the necessary information to be able to put out there. But as far as like being censored, I can only really speak for Carlos as a reporter. Everything you see on TV with me is real. Of course, now there's some parts of the interview that don't make it to TV just because of time restraints. Like the average story that we tell is typically 1:30. A lot of mine is 1:30 to 2 minutes because there's just some things you just can't get on TV, no matter how hard you try. And that's where I know with all of my most of my stories rather. On YouTube, you can see the full interviews where I pass it to our digital team and they upload the full interview that you can see. So hopefully that answers your question.
That's good. That's good. Thank you for that question, Commissioner. And then Steve Bryant says, "I wish you were here doing the Washington, D.C. news." That's big. Yeah. And then
would you consider that though? Would you consider doing the national news if you were given the opportunity?
You know, I'm not opposed to it, LJ. I'll tell you that. But you know, that's big dog.
Yeah.
But you know, I definitely believe right now that, you know, I have the humbly I have the experience to go up there. But you know, it's just, again, Middle Georgia is just what I love. This is home. I know that I feel like people in this community, they need their stories to be told. And you know, I just try my best to honor and represent Middle Georgia well, from both sides, you know, just giving everybody that voice, you know what I'm saying? But also with giving everybody that voice, understanding that sometimes everybody ain't telling the truth either.
That's right.
Almost that. So
that's right.
Yeah, that's that.
Yeah, they be bringing you lies sometimes.
Man, and so that's going back to misinformation. Sometimes, man, when people are inboxing you, people have their own motives. behind
Right.
I'm
things.
telling you, Carlo. I'm telling you. Down the street, I'm telling you.
Literally.
The car flipped over 1,000 times.
All right.
The man jumped out.
Literally.
He had 3 legs. I'm telling you.
And and sometimes, you know, in a very respectful manner, when people reach out and give you news, you have to just tell them sometimes everything you think is news is not news.
Right.
Somebody running down the doorstep and breaking an ankle, that ain't news for us. I do sympathize that they broke their ankle. I do.
Right.
That's not news. And so anytime somebody come at with, I think sometimes people will write you and think you're just gonna run with a story. And many times people, you know, send us news tilts. Well, we ain't just finna take nothing and publish you. We're definitely gonna do our due diligence and looking into, you know, what you have, you know, reached out to us about.
Right.
And then if there is some truth to it, okay, then now we're going to dig more and now we're going to inform the community on what they should know. But yeah, best believe, you know, just because you writing me and thinking it's a story, yeah, we not doing that over here.
I'm sorry, laughing, man. But Edward James, my boy Head, he said, "Oh, that's him." LOL. Guess he just checked in and saw your face. Oh, okay, he's a real person. He a real person.
Look, I told you, y'all, we breaking the conspiracy theories. They disappearing today. This is the last day you think Carlos Stevens is a bot, y'all.
Not actually, so we holding you hostage.
Right.
Don't do that.
Yeah, but I guess moving forward a little bit, you do have your own. For one, let me say this: you do because Unc Tonsil Odoms, he was asking you about the Game Changers segment that you have, but you have your own podcast too as well, right?
It's called No Letting Up. Yep. We'll have that one. Then I co-host one called Word Wednesday, and I'm the producer of both.
Can you tell us a little bit more about both of those?
Okay, so Work Wednesday is really like it's between me. I'm sure y'all heard of Gary Watkins, GWP, Gary Watkins Production. I'm sure y'all heard of him.
I haven't.
You haven't heard of him, but he's he's a real good talented young brother at his camera work. And then of course you have Darquez Denard, who played at Twiggs County and went on to the NFL. And then you have Rashad, who played for Warner Robins. And so we just really all came together and wanted to really be able to just allow people who work on a daily basis to explain like what their work is, motivating people through their work. Like, how did you get here? A little bit similar to mine and No Letting Up, but this is from a work perspective. Like, what did it cost you to get to this specific career? What things that you have to really go to? Because let's be real, like every successful person has a story, and they all look different. Right. And so that's kind of what Work Wednesday is. And then when we go to No Letting Up, No Letting Up is simply just don't matter what what background you have. We go behind the curtains of that person's success, and we want to hear, like I'm talking about, we want to hear all the way back to how long, to when you was a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
Where did your love for the potential spot you are now, like as far as success? So like, let's just say you're a doctor. Where did that love start? Kind of like y'all asked me earlier, like basically, how did you get into journalism?
Right. So
we want to go behind the scenes of that and just learn, and hopefully it motivates somebody. That person that may be home and be like, bro, I just don't think this is it. I don't think I can do this. And so hopefully they watch No Letting Up Work Wednesday, so they can be inspired to know, well, guess what? You got these guys sitting here doing the podcast, and we got stories just like you, but we were able to, prevail and still be successful. And we all know success comes with a price. And people see, my platforms, they, you see the Facebook platform, but that didn't grow that way overnight. Like that was a lot of hard work. I'm talking about a lot of hard work. And so I always like to make sure people know that, they be like, yeah, you got a big following. Yeah, you see that, but you don't see the behind the scenes of what it really took to get all these platforms going. And not only that, once you get them going, you got to maintain them.
Right.
So
yeah, definitely take work.
Right. And also real quick, we know that June is Black Men's Mental Health Month, right?
Yes, sir.
And and you through your experience as a journalist, you're in a profession that can be emotionally draining.
Oh, boy, talk about it.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And so can you just share with us what we know there are stories that that can be troubling sometimes. And can you explain or just share with us if you've had any stories that have stayed with you after the camera has stopped rolling, and how do you avoid becoming emotionally detached from difficult stories, or do you get detached from those stories?
Um, well, first and foremost, I'll say it ain't easy. Especially like specifically covering crime stories, like having to even go up on the scene if there's been a shooting or a homicide. Like I think sometimes people think that, I know for me, I'm just gonna speak for me. They think it doesn't bother you, but and you won't hear this from every journalist. But I'll tell you this: even every crime scene that I'm headed to, I'm praying in the car on my way there,
Right.
and I'm praying for both sides. Obviously praying for protection, but praying for every family that has been affected. Because at the end of the day, while I am a reporter, there's a family being affected.
Right.
And you have to keep that in mind. Even when telling the story, sympathize. I know everybody like to call it tea or whatever the case may be. They want to know the tea, but is a tea worth putting a family in jeopardy?
Right.
You have to think about pictures and stuff you upload on social media. Like all this stuff, goes to my mind before I'm publishing anything. How would, if I'm on the other end of this, how would I see this?
Right.
Would I want my family member like this? Now, and at the end of the day, if somebody's arrested, it just is what it is. Now that doesn't mean they are guilty, must I add.
Right.
You are innocent until proven guilty. So I just go into, stories understanding, like putting myself in the situation. And there are times where I've had to like take time, say a prayer, and just really just I keep God first anyway, but just really keeping God first. Like you got to understand that at the end of the day, you have a job to do, but I also sympathize with somebody that may have been affected by whatever that story may be. And sometimes it's really hard. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's really hard to separate your emotions from the story, especially when you got to look a mother in the face and you see the pain in her eyes where she done lost a loved one, and it's like, bro, like this weight is on my shoulder. Like I gotta report this, and then not only report it, I gotta make sure I'm doing this family justice in the reporting.
Right.
Because they watching every move you make, as they should. And there's some stores I go on where people are not happy to see me, when it comes to like shootings. And respectfully, I get it. Like, who want to talk to somebody when they loved one has been killed or shot?
Right.
I go into the story knowing that. So like I have been, cussed out. And none of that stuff bothers me. Like I'm not offended by that. Because going in, I'm expecting you to be, feeling some type of way. Like I ain't trying to see Carlos right now. I get that wholeheartedly. But at the end of the day, I'm still respectfully gonna ask, do you want to remember your loved one in a special way, in a positive way, regardless of what may have transpired? Either you do or you don't. And I'm not gonna push the issue with you. But yeah, it's the LJ, the emotions of this job, man. It ain't. I tell you, it ain't for everybody, for real.
Understood.
Right.
Okay, and then
Thank you, Aunt.
right. And Uncle Odoms, he says, on a serious note, nephew, I've seen you grow from the beginning until now. Proud of you, my guy.
Yeah. And Ashley says, she says, no, so we holding you hostage. No Washington for you.
He said, don't hold him hostage, Ashley. Let him move freely, Ashley. Let him move freely. And then Kia Boo says, are there any stories that you just will not cover or report on?
No, if it's a story, it's gonna be covered. Bottom line, if it's a story, it's gonna be covered.
Gotcha. And then I want to ask the question, what advice would you give to other young Black men who are pursuing careers in high pressure fields? So maybe not particularly journalism, but in any field that requires or takes a lot of stress and could put a lot of toll. Because with it being Men's Black Mental Health Month, I think that a lot of times we don't think about all of these things, like how you're saying, having to deal with people who have lost loved ones, whether if they were killed, or if even having to deal with people who are if they were arrested. I think both ways, like you said, it can take a lot out of you. So what advice would you give to young Black men who are either wanting to pursue high pressure fields or just in general?
I would first say, again, going back to God, man, keeping God first. Like I could not do this job if it weren't for Him, staying prayed up. So that's first and foremost. And then the field that you are desiring to go in, like Do you know what this field is all about? Have you researched this field? Is this something that you really want to do? Like, ask yourself that. Like, is this something I really want to do? And you just got to stay level-headed. Another thing I would say, people around you, like, man, I think people underestimate how much the right crowd means. That's another thing that plays into my career. Like, I have I count on hands how many people I got around me that just they know the type of job I do, and they always praying for me, keeping me grounded. So you definitely need those people who won't keep you grounded. And just know at the end of the day, with what you do, you come first. You got to put you first. Whether that's going out of town, taking a vacation. Once you do get into that desired field that creates a heavy pressure load, put you first. Because I promise you, if you fall dead today,
They're gonna replace
they're
you.
gonna replace you tomorrow.
Right.
No questions asked. So make sure you put you first at all times. Keeping God first. Make sure you keeping the right people around you, and just staying out the way. Like, I think that's the best thing I can say. And this is something that I think that us as culturally speaking, black men, we don't like therapy.
Yeah.
Get a counselor therapy.
Right.
Get you one. Like, I have no issue with saying that I have one at all.
Right.
Like, I definitely got one. Because sometimes subjects get so heavy, and they can walk you through how to get through that heaviness.
That's right.
And whether whoever your faith leader, make sure you got a trusted faith leader that can help you get through whatever it is that it may be. So hopefully, Tia, I answered your question. I know I was long-winded.
No, that was perfect.
It was.
That was perfect, because I think that's important. That last part you said, making sure, getting rid of that stigma that comes with mental health awareness and mental health, like counselors and therapists and things of that nature. Because a lot of times, I think we see our young black men, not just young, even our older black men who have so much that they have built up inside of them because they've been told that it's not proper or it's not manly for them to express those emotions and those feelings, and so they don't really know what to do with them. And for me, I think that that's a lot of why we see some of the violence and things that we see, because the anger is misplaced and they don't know what to do with it. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
For sure. And everybody, before we get off, all of our folks that are checking in with us online, make sure y'all share this with your folks. Let them know, hey, go back and watch this. This is a great show.
Absolutely.
It's great information. So, all our social media family that's out there, our village family, if you can, please share this. And put the caption in there. Carlos is a real person.
Hashtag Carlos is not a bot.
Hey, seriously. But real quick, is there anybody that you watch on a regular? Like, do you have like podcasters or media personalities? Like, who's the folks that inspire you that you like to check out?
Man, it's a lot of them. But start the very first one that come to mind is Oprah Winfrey.
Okay.
She's one. Now I'm finna go way back. This even before my time. I don't know if you remember Walter Cronkite with CBS.
Yeah.
That's one. Who else? There's a couple more that's just not coming to mind right now, but I know like Oprah Winfrey definitely comes to mind. I'm real. But yeah, those are people. Like when I really look at Oprah, just giving people again that voice to sit and tell that story. I'm not here to argue if you don't agree with her. That's not my argument. What I will say is she inspired me today to not only just listen to people, but make sure they have a voice to tell their story. I mean, there's a lot of stories out here where I've been told we covering stories. People just feel like they don't have a voice.
Right.
And so I just make sure they understand. Before we get on this camera, make sure you tell the truth, because this is going on air. So if you get on here and say something you ain't telling the truth, just understand you have given us permission to air this. So just going back though, to who inspired me, it's definitely Oprah Winfrey, Walter Cronkite, and there's a lot of more people that I just ain't coming to mind right now.
No doubt.
But I watch that. One of the things in this profession too, you learn to watch others that are bigger than you, and be okay with saying they're bigger than you.
Right.
Because one day you have to understand you will be there. And so I'm, another guy, Craig Melvin from NBC Today. He's another one I watch. And I know this is more of a podcast form, but The Pivot. Watch them.
Okay.
I think they do a good job of giving people an open space to be transparent. So those are those are a couple of platforms that I do watch.
That's good. That's good. And I'm gonna ask one final question. Hopefully, if you could leave listeners with one message about truth, trust, and community, what would it be?
Truth, trust, and community.
And it don't necessarily have to be about those things. But what one message would you leave this audience with?
Just I know there's a lot of distrust when it comes to media, and to be real, understandable so, because sometimes, again, I can only speak for Carlos, but I do also know that there are sometimes reporters that try to flip a narrative to, I don't know if it's a personal agenda, whatever the case may be. But I would just say give that reporter or journalist a chance. Because I'm a firm believer, and I tell people all the time, people that like cover, I know I get one chance with you to gain your trust. And when that story hit that area at 5, that's going to determine whether you talk to me. I'm not going to so I would just tell people, just give that journalist a chance. A lot of people like to say they can't trust the media. Now I'm going to post something up. Sometimes we can't trust people who tell stories for us season. And I know people don't want to hear that, but we have to sometimes tell people say to us what's grain of salt too. So it kind of go. It really, I can't say it goes both ways. I know people struggle to trust the media, but we struggle to trust the sources, which is why I know again that comes back to us doing our jobs. Make sure you tell accurate information with context. But I would just say trust your journalists. And if you got a story out there, because people don't. I think sometimes people assume we know the good that's happening in the community. Let's be honest. We're gonna always know about the bad stuff happening in the community. A good portion of it, I would say. If you know something good, reach out to me. Like, I'm always looking for good stories. To be honest with you, I'm looking for good stories all the time to help me get away from all the negativity. Like I get, people may not believe it, I get tired of covering shooting. I get tired of seeing young guys, getting locked up for shootings. I get tired of it. Like, I really get tired of having to report on error. While understanding it is my job, it doesn't mean I don't get tired of it. Like, I want to see these young men, women be successful in life, and it does no family good when they behind bars. So just give them a chance, give that journalist a chance, and y'all just stay focused out here. And I also want to say this: I don't take the trust that the community has, granted me. I don't take that lightly. Like that y'all talk to me, y'all tell me y'all stories, and you trust me to come to your living room every single night at 5:30, and 6, and sometimes at 11. Even in the morning, I just want y'all to know, like, publicly, it's greatly appreciated. Like, for real.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you appreciate it too.
Right. We appreciate it.
Yeah, you're beyond the news that comes on TV. Let's know that now. Your social media platform, how you show up in the community. You're beyond just that. So I hope your boss or somebody listening, or they hear in the streets that hey, look, y'all been on touch call. Matter of fact, y'all need to give them a raise. Hey, your boss said, hey, look now. We said we don't want him to go nowhere.
Y'all, if you got business, check out Ashley Woodward.
Yeah. I'm telling you, shout out your eyes. Yeah, so.
My boss, we've had conversations about what I think we
All right. Real quick, Wayne Horton says, hello, guys. Great show. Carlos, would you read the sports stories? Read all of them so that your total audience can know what the scores are. Doing a great job. Appreciate you, Wayne.
Thank y'all so much for joining us. We appreciate y'all.
Village Talks.
You've been listening to Village Talks with Tia and LJ. Join them live every Wednesday from 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. right here on the Glory 107.9 FM, 980 AM WDDO.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.